thousand.
20, then
70,000.
70k, then
100K.
100k. Any number, any number ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Right. So many thoughts are being generated. Can anybody guess, on an average, a person, how many thoughts he may get in one day? Any guess?
20,000.
20, then
70,000.
70k, then
100K.
100k. Any number, any number ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Right. So, according to science, it is said that every day we get 60,000 thoughts. Every day. It is studied already, sir, according to science. Now you can imagine, every day you are able to generate 60,000 thoughts in your mind. But unfortunately, most of the thoughts are random, which keep on repeating, and they are unnecessary. It happens, no, when you are sitting in the class, you are not interested in the class, then you start thinking. Suddenly, all of a sudden, if a terrorist enter the classroom, what happens? Right? It happens with the students, especially the boys. Correct? I will become the savior. I will jump from here. So many thoughts start coming. Why? Session is going boring. We are not interested. So mind want some activity. It starts generating a thought. It becomes a whole novel in your mind only. Right? So it happens because your mind is creative, your mind is active, and you are fully healthy. But the only problem is you don't know where to apply this. Correct? So today we are able to control remote satellites in space. All of our mobiles, technology, everything is working because of space technology. But unfortunately, we are unable to control our own minds, which is there just in our head. But still, we cannot control. Now, if you can try out this method, especially when I go to schools, I ask them this method. I tell them, you just try to sit 2 minutes idle. You should try, no thought should enter your mind. Is it possible? For most of the students, it's highly impossible because our mind is always active. It's like a horse. A wild horse. It's always running. Even in our night, our mind works actually, right? Because of that only we get dreams and all. So this is to convey how our mind is powerful. So what we require, when we learn to focus our minds and control our thoughts, we all can produce amazing results. Now all of you have got this device. It is fully capable. It is fully working in a good condition. Only thing is, you should know how to use it. If you don't know, then you are missing this opportunity. So this is the whole session is about how to train your mind. So what is the root cause of many evils in the society today? We can see so many crimes around us, right? So what is the root cause? There may be something as a secondary cause. ಅವನು ಬಂದು ಇವನೇ ಹೊಡೆದ, ಏನು ಕಾರಣ, ಏನೋ ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಗಾಯಿತು ಹೀಗಾಯಿತು. There are so many secondary reasons. But if you see the root cause, it is because of uncontrolled mind. Emotions. A person is unable to control his emotion, he becomes burst out. So it's all because of uncontrolled mind. Now if you see some of the surveys which have been done in India about the Indian youths, they say 36% of Bangalore techies surveyed are probably psychiatric cases. You know why it happens? Now every company, if you go to Bangalore after finishing colleges for job, every company they are having tie-up with psychiatric doctors to provide sessions, consulting, counseling, everything. It has become a very common problem amongst teenagers, among youngsters especially. Why? Because mind. 1 among 20 employees regularly considers suicide. You know, India ranks 3rd in the world in the number of suicide cases. 28% were constantly under strain. 28%. So this number every year is rapidly increasing. So no wonder people are always eager for holidays and weekends. In Hubli we don't have this trend, but if you see in Bangalore, Saturday and Sunday means it's a weekend for them. Weekend, nobody is available in their home. Everybody is on the street, somewhere in the bar, in the pub, or in the long drives. Why it happens? Yeah, you can go for ice cube also, no issue. So why it happens? Because continuous stress. They are facing the 5 days work. Continuous stress they are feeling, and because of that, they are very eager for weekends. So it is something like this, how the employees, they spend their days, especially on the weekend. It's like this. It is Friday to Monday, weekend, right? Full party mode. But now you see, after Monday again start work, right? Right? Now you may feel it's like a joke. But no, once after 3 years, once you go to Bangalore, you are going to experience the same thing actually. You are going to experience this. Right? Okay. So around 13% teens are constantly under strain and go to depression. All this data what I am providing here are based on some of the surveys which have been done in India. Just I will go through quickly. About 48% of teens plan to commit suicide or actually commit once. More than 31% women between age of 15 to 49 use tobacco in some form or other. 32% of urban teens have alcohol and 25% smoke. This is only just known number, correct? Only known. Most of the students who smoke, it's actually unknown for others. So 20% increase in the teenage patients with hypertension in the past 5 years. About 80% of all internet traffic and 60% of revenues are adult content and gambling related. So if you summarize the whole thing, all of these things, then this is the summary of it. So of all Indians, 33% consume pork, 15% consume tobacco, 33% consume alcohol, and 3 million are commercial sex workers. So this is the state of India in the today's scenario. And remember one thing, this is just known number. If other sources are generated, then this percentage and this number will definitely on rise. Now you may think, sir, what is bad in this, right? If we are earning, we are spending, then what is bad actually with this? No. We'll see the consequences, how it actually affects us. Yes. Do you often feel nervous or anxious, right? If on the spot, if I call any of you on the stage to give a song, how many of you feel nervous, right? Stage fear we say, correct? We don't want to go on stage. Alle kuto matado bhala easy actually, alva? Alle group alli hing tale keda haki hing matado bhala easy. The moment you come on the dais to speak, it actually requires guts. So why we feel this anxiety? It is because of your uncontrolled mind. Do you feel frequently worry about insignificant things? Something is actually not important, but still you are so much worried about it. Right? For example, a kind of watch you have got, or a branded mobile which you are using, it's actually insignificant, but still you feel very worried about it. So do you constantly feel tired and short of energy? This actually we can see in all of you after attending 2 sessions. Now you can see, sir explained already that 2 sessions are over and mine is 3rd one. All of you, if you see your faces, this actually can resemble on you. Right? So all these things are happening because of the bad habits or the activities which we are involved in. Yes. Now we'll move to the second part, understanding how actually the mind works. Why it is required? I'll tell you. If you want to repair a mobile, first you should know what is the mechanism behind it, right? If you know the mechanism, then only you can repair it. So similarly, if you want to control your mind, the first thing is required is you should know how actually your mind works. So if I ask you this question, whether your mind is your friend or your enemy, what will be the answer?
Friend.
How many of you say your mind is your friend? How many? Only few. Okay. So how many of you say your mind is your enemy? Again only few. So what about others? I think they have some other answer. Both? How many of you say okay? How many of you say mind is both? It's my friend and enemy. Most of you. Okay, quite interesting. So if I change the same question in a different way, and if I ask this question, a sharpened knife, whether is it good or bad? Good. How many of you say it is good? How many of you say bad? Both? Most of you. Very nice. Actually, it's true. If you give this knife to any of your friend who is a doctor, he can use it to save someone's life. Right? In that way, it's a good. But if it is given to a robber, a thief, then it's actually bad. Right? So, similarly is our mind. It depends on where we use it. So, based on our usage, we can say whether it is bad or good. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains about mechanism of mind. So, in that, he says, Bandhuratmat manastasya enatmayavat manajitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. The meaning goes like this: for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friend. One who has conquered his mind. For him, what is his mind? It's the best of friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be what? Greatest enemy. Yeah. So, if you are able to control our mind, if you are able to train it, then it's your good friend. Otherwise, it is your worst enemy. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives us one simple example. Through this analogy, we can understand how actually our mind works. So, in this analogy, he explains there is a passenger sitting on a chariot which is driven by 5 horses. Now, can you guess these 5 horses are represented by whom? What they represent? Body, no. Organs, especially which organs? Eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. So what are these 5? 5 senses. In Kannada we say it's Panchendriya, right? There are 5 senses. So 5 horses are compared to 5 senses. And now the driver, who may be the driver? Any idea? Mind? How many of you say driver is the mind here? Any other answer you have? Soul. Then? Quickly, we don't have much time. Okay, I'll move to the next part. What about the passenger? Who may be the passenger? Yes. The passenger is soul. That means we ourselves. And the whole chariot is
Mind.
the whole chariot.
Body.
It is our body. The whole chariot is our body. The 5 horses are our senses. Passenger is ourself. Now there are 2 things which are left over. One is driver, and what is the other part? The ropes which the driver is using? The ropes. Now if you see, the driver is not actually the mind here. Most of us, we think in the wrong direction. Mind is actually our intelligence. And mind is ropes. Now you imagine if you are in this scenario where you are sitting as a passenger and all the five horses that become mad and they are pulling here and there the chariot. So you are not experiencing a good passage. You are not experiencing a good journey. So if you want to control the horses, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Pull the rope. No, you are a passenger. No, you are not ruling the ropes. How you can control the mind? You can see the example. You are sitting in a passenger seat. So if you want to control the horses, how you can do? Pressure. हाँ से pressure आएगा भाई. हाँ? Push. It's actually very simple. See, you can just see the picture and you can recognize. That's what. Whom you can control. Mind, you cannot control mind. Mind is not in your hand. By telling intelligence, right? So, mind, the horses are not controlled by the passenger. You're in passenger seat. There's a driver in front of you. So you should ask your driver to control the horses. Like that, if you want to control your mind, you should train your intelligence first. If you're able to train your intelligence, then your mind can be under control. I'll give one more example. Now, in this session, when the session is going on, your mind is completely out of the session, right? It's somewhere here and going. But if you want to bring it back, you have to train your intelligence. No, whatever may be the other scene, now I have to listen. Now I have to give attention here. So in this way, you have to train your intelligence. Then only your mind can be brought under control. Otherwise, it's not possible. So to have a smooth ride, we require a chariot. So we compare it to our life, which we have already got. So we have to tame the horses. That means we have to regulate our senses, and training the driver means strengthening the intelligence. So if you want to control your mind, then you have to strengthen your intelligence. In one of the interview, Bill Britt, who is a multi-billionaire, he says in one of the interview, US is a mighty country, but where is our culture going? It's drugs, violence, diverse sex. That's not the American dream. Look at India. I admire their culture. They have got much better families and values than we do. They have got much better parents than we do. Their families are much more united than ours. I respect their values. So unfortunately, many youngsters there are being influenced by our media. They are being influenced by the wrong culture. So if I were the Prime Minister of India for 15 minutes, I will shoot all the Western channels out of that beautiful country. So this was in one of this interview, he says, we can say actually it happens in our life, right? Whole of our life, our lifestyle, whether it's our dressing, the kind of food we have, the way we talk, everything is we are copying from the Western, right? Okay. So now we come to the last part of this session. Don't worry, I won't take much time here. In the beginning, we understood why it's required to control the mind. Then we saw the mechanism, and the end part, we will see the solution, how we can do so. So there are many methods to control our mind. So primarily it can be divided into 3 categories. One is physical, mental, and finally spiritual methods. So there are 3 broad categories of methods by which we can control our mind. So I have one activity here. So I request any of you, any one person who is good in reading English can stand up there itself. Just you have to read us on screen. Anybody? Anybody here? Quickly, no time. Yes, yourself. So there's on screen. Can you to mic? So you can try to read the things which comes on the screen. Yes.
If one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. And when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring account peace.
Yes. Thank you. So now, when we see this text, if someone says, "Oh, it's impossible to read because it's not in a properly order," is it true? Is it true? It's impossible to read this? No. It is possible to read, but with little difficulties, right? With little endeavor, little physical exercise, neck exercise, then we can read this. So like this, the physical methods which are like performing yogasana or pranayama, kriyas. And if you know, there are many kriyas we say, purificated techniques, like holding the hand in a particular position. So all these methods and sitting postures, all these methods are come under category of physical method. By performing all these things, you can actually control your mind. Now recently we had World Yoga Day. In most of the colleges they perform this, and we had been to some of the colleges to teach yoga for the students. So these yoga or the positions, postures, all these things help us to control our mind. They are all physical methods. So if any of you have time every day, 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, you can try and you can control your mind. Now, someone may think that even while controlling the mind in these methods, it may be helpful for few times, for some time. But after that, again it's very difficult to control. Just for example, if you see this activity, like especially after lunch, after the lunch hour, if you have any session, it will be very interesting for you. But what happens in that session? You will be dozing, right? Somewhere like this, right? Some of you may have experienced this already. You are trying to be awakened. You want to alert yourself, but you are helpless. Maybe some of you may be feeling now also the same situation. Right? Why it happens? According to medical science, they say when you consume food, body, our energy drives for digestion. So oxygen, there's a lack of oxygen because of we start feeling sleepy or dizziness. So you can try this method. I'll give you advice. So if you are having this problem in any of your session, just when you're sitting there, just do pranayama for 2 seconds. Pranayama is very simple. Just close one of your nostril and take a deep breath, very deep breath, maximum level. Try to hold it for 1 second and then from another nostril, you put it out, the air, that breathe. So if you try this actually 2 times, immediately your mind become active. Why you know? Because your body gets oxygen, more oxygen when you take deep breathing. So pranayama is nothing but actually giving more oxygen to the blood cells. So like this, these methods, all these methods comes under physical methods of controlling our mind. Now if you see the mental methods, there are very few, like how every day you receive a quote, read a quote for a day, quote of the day, so on, and then meditate on it, think about it. All those things comes under mental methods. For example, concentration, affirmations of self-talk, self-motivation, then positive thinking, change of mental attitudes. All these different things comes under mental methods, how you can control your mind. Now, if you see them according to medical science, they say our brain waves, there are 4 kinds of brain waves which are working. So when we are fully alert, our brain produces out waves which are beta, which range in this in between this range. So like this, our whole mind, it produces different waves based on the our mind status. So in mental methods, what happened? When with the moment we feel relaxation, the way that we get the thoughts or we generate, we feel relaxed and we can control our mind. So all these things comes under mental methods. So I don't go in detail of that. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that these two methods, physical and mental, they won't give you long run benefit. They won't give you long run benefit. So to explain this one example you can give. Imagine if your friend is having a birthday. Anybody is having birthday today or tomorrow? Anybody? None of you. Okay. So imagine your friend is having a birthday and you want to have a prank on him. So what you do, in order to get a cake for his birthday, you collect some cow dungs. After collecting cow dung, you nicely arrange them and a very nice fresh cream you apply on it. So inside this fresh cream, what is there? Cow dung. So you apply nice fresh cream, and on top of that you can keep one cherry also, right? So if this cake, if you offer to your friend, externally it may look very nice, very delicious, but the moment he cut, what happens? The all garbage or the what is there, the actual content can be seen. So this physical method and mental methods, they are like this. They'll help you, but for a very short period of time. That is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he explains about spiritual methods which last for a long time. So physical methods may be like cultivating knowledge and wisdom. This is one of the spiritual method. And to do this, they are supposed to read good, thought-provoking books. When we say good books, it doesn't refer to magazines. Whenever in the session, I refer this, people start speaking, sir, which magazine we should read, which paper we should read. No, we don't speak about magazine or papers. Thought-provoking good books, especially spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita. So if you read these books, what happens? You cultivate knowledge and wisdom. So scientists Dana Zohr and Lan Marshall have claimed that SQ is our ultimate intelligence. SQ stands for spiritual quotient. So enhanced SQ helps us purify our mind and strengthen our intelligence. So in Gita it said, if one properly follows the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all miseries and anxieties of life, and one will be free from all fears. So these are some of the quotations how reading Bhagavad Gita or spiritual books will actually help you in controlling your mind. So Mark Twain, he says, the man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. So another very powerful extra input to our mind body system is chanting mantras. Some of you may think, oh sir, it's very old method actually. Oh, all this chanting and all, it's meant for aged people, not for us. But actually no. Chanting some of the mantras actually help us to have mind control. Why you know? Because according to Sanskrit term, mantra stands for manatrayate iti mantra. Mana, that means mind. Trayate means which controls. So a mantra is a line or it's a phrase which controls our mind. So if you cultivate this habit of chanting, of mantra meditation, that will also help to control your mind. So I'll skip this part. Yes. So you can see even Western world, they have come across with these facts, and they have developed many therapies based on meditation to heal our mind and mental problems. So I won't take much time here. So this last thing I'll read. There is a survey which has been done in UK about this chanting of the mantras, which actually how it helps. They have done a survey on this, and we'll have a look at this, and with that we'll end this session.
A clinical test of the benefits of mantra chanting was performed on 3 groups of 62 subjects, males and females of average age 25. They chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 25 minutes each day under strict clinical supervision. Results showed that regular chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra reduces stress and depression and helps reduce bad habits and addictions. These results formed a PhD thesis at Florida State University.
So this is how they have done a survey on this thesis and they have proven this method that yes, meditation actually helps us to control our mind. So this is how it actually helps us in this method. So mind control result in positive changes in our life, a development of excellent good memory, improved personal relationships and increased self-confidence. So summary of this session. The problem we face today are mainly due to our uncontrolled minds. There are various methods which we already discussed, physical, mental and spiritual methods to control our mind. And finally, spiritual methods are one of the best and the permanent methods which we can use to control our mind. So, if you don't try to control your mind, then definitely it will control you and your actions. So, with this we end today.
Big thank you for being here.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।